First of all, Sephora, many thanks for organizing this, and what a privilege to get to be with everybody else on this call. Um, Look, it's very clear that for many years we've faced a failure of governance around climate change, and our nations have not risen to the occasion. Paris is as close as they've come, and we will keep working hard on them to live up to the promises made there. But there are other important players in this world beyond governments, and they include big financial powers, which is why people have been pushing very hard to get banks and asset managers and insurance companies and everybody else on board. You know that this divestment movement has become the largest corporate campaign of its kind in history. Yesterday, we had the largest single pension fund yet to join in, one of the largest pension funds on earth, New York State's Employees Pension Fund, $226 billion, really signal victory along this way. And what it's demonstrating is, and much of this work is, of course, thanks to the guidance that Mark Campanale gave early on, that people who are grappling with the financial bottom line of this crisis have come to understand just what the future holds. I want to underscore, however, what people have been saying here today. I mean, we talk glibly about 2050 or about our various targets or whatever it is, I mean, it's really important to just step back and acknowledge what terrible shape we're in right now. And the temperature's only gone up about a degree. Um, we've just had 30 storms in the Atlantic basin this hurricane season. The last two of them slammed into Central America, and the damage they did there was so horrific that it's almost beyond our ability to describe. The estimates are that the equivalent, maybe the equivalent of 40% of the GDP of Honduras that disappeared in the course of those two storms. Hundreds of thousands of people already on the move as a result. Um, we're in a great emergency, and so we need to act very fast. And since one of the things that we're here to talk about today is this treaty, just worth reminding ourselves that it was in the throes of the great emergency at the end of World War II, when we saw the explosions in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that the world nerved itself up to start trying to figure out how to limit the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Well, we're seeing that same scale of damage. Every day, the carbon that we put in the atmosphere traps the heat equivalent of 400,000 Hiroshima-sized explosions. And so it is high time, and I am so grateful to the people who've been doing this work to get this treaty off the ground, for us to understand that though it's easy to visualize the explosion of a few nuclear weapons and the damage they would cause, it turns out you can do just as much damage with the explosion of a billion pistons inside a billion cylinders every second of every minute of every hour of every day. And that's where we are right now, with the need for really emergency action. 2050 is not an interesting year. 2030 is an interesting year. It may be the last really interesting year in this fight.